Hello, and welcome to the Ganru-Ko Show. I'm Golda.
I'm Wanru.
And I'm Keiko.
And this is a podcast that's just like hanging out with your three best girlfriends.
Today we are joined by a very special guest, Keiko Agena.
Keiko Agena.
Hi, everybody. Hey.
Yay.
I'm trying to contain my excitement here.
Yeah, me too.
Golda,
I'm so excited.
can you please describe to us your good friend Keiko in your own words?
Well, Keiko Agena, I was telling you, Wanru, earlier, I have a lot of very talented friends, and Keiko, I definitely consider one of my favorite people. And the way I described Keiko to Wanru was she is a modern day Renaissance woman.
Oh, thank you.
She's like the Leonardo da Vinci of our time.
That's not hyperbole, guys. That's fact.
No, it's for real. Like she's got like this whole scientific background, and she's coming up with inventing stuff in addition to everything else that she does that's out there for the public to consume.
Yeah. So we're going to find out more on this week's podcast where she's going to tell us about unleashing her creativity. So let's get started. Woo! We are so lucky today because Keiko is here to discuss her newly released book, No Mistakes, a crossed out workbook for imperfect artists. Keiko, what
Hi,
was...
Wanru.
Hi, darling.
Hi.
What was the inspiration, the motivation for starting this book?
Well, originally, I was on a podcast like I am today, and magical things can happen on podcasts.
Yes.
I was on a podcast, the Gilmore Guys podcast, and someone at Tarcher Perigee, an editor there, heard me talk about potentially doing an adult coloring book for some of my drawings. And she contacted me about it, and that initial idea kind of blossomed into more of a workbook for artists that included writing, included quotes that I loved, included things that I do personally to protect and inspire my own creativity. And so a year later, this book was birthed.
Yeah.
And so now I have a imperfect workbook called No Mistakes.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
I follow Keiko on Facebook.
Oh,
And
sweet.
I saw you drawing
Me too,
these-
and I also follow her on Instagram.
Not that this is a competition
And she tweets too. I'm such a fan of Keiko Agena. You have
is a bigger
no
fan, but
idea.
But also we know each other, Golda, for years. So there's that level
I
too.
love Miss Keiko Agena. You know what we
What?
forgot to do real
What?
quick? I know unless you've been living under a rock, you will know that Keiko as Lane Kim, the wonderful Lane Kim.
You knew I looked slightly familiar, right?
In the
People who
Gilmore
are
Girls.
watching on the screens.
Yeah.
among and many other roles as
Among
well.
many other things. And one of the what I love about Keiko and why I was personally very excited to see that she created this book is I've always admired Keiko for her creativity and her being so supportive of artists and basically everybody.
As a matter of fact, Golda said, I know Keiko last as an actress, although most people know you first as an actress.
Yeah.
She said, I know Keiko as a generous, supportive, kind person
Yeah.
first,
Yeah, it's
which
true.
is really sweet. And I said, I know
It's true.
Keiko because she makes little doodles. So that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about.
She's a
which
Renaissance
is-
woman.
I saw you doing these very almost like, I don't know, mesmerizing little doodles. Can you tell me about this process of how you started doing these drawings, basically?
Very
Oh,
intricate.
sure. It's sort of similar to the other story of how this book got made. It started accidentally, where I had a friend that I was in an improv team with, and he had a it wasn't Instagram, it was Tumblr. He had a Tumblr page.
Is Tumblr still around?
I
Going
know.
back to
I
Tumblr.
don't know.
Friendster? You remember Friendster?
Yes, I do remember Friendster.
I think I still have the account.
I believe that you had a lot of friends on Friendster. Didn't you, Golda?
I
feel like that's a Golda thing.
I did have a lot of
big
friends.
on Friendster.
I did. I was a Friendster collector.
Yeah.
Even people that I met at like the liquor store, I'd be like, "Hey, what's your Friendster?"
Oh
I didn't care.
love it.
Because I was superficial back then. Not anymore.
No.
I'm a lot more grounded.
Yes.
In case you can't tell, Golda's very competitive when it comes to social media. Like, I have to have more friends.
Like us on Instagram, the
Yes.
Ganru Show.
Okay, so you were saying
Tumblr. Where were we?
Oh, yeah, Tumblr.
Tumblr.
Whoa,
Yeah.
flashback Tumblr.
Tumblr. And I thought, oh, okay, well, and he makes a living doing social media. He does other things too, but I thought, okay, what is this Tumblr thing? And I thought, well, I'm gonna stick my toe into it. And I thought I need things to put on there because it's a visual medium. So I started drawing these very simple. Mostly hearts, a lot of heart drawings.
Yeah.
And I would post them, and they got more and more detailed as the time I spent on them. And then it sort of grew from there. And I think that was 2 or 3, maybe 3 years ago now.
Wow.
And then Tracy, who's a mutual friend of ours, Tracy Kato Kiriyama, gave me a gift of a very, very fine line pen because she loves pens too, and that sort of developed into how I do more fine line drawings. And what I like about drawing. Oh, and here's some pictures.
And
we're showing some.
Yeah, we're showing some on our YouTube video if you want to look at some.
Check us out on YouTube. I like how I say us now, like I'm part of the team.
Yes, you are. Today you are.
Ganru-Ko.
And then and so I sort of what's nice about being able to do drawings is as performers, a lot of times you're beholden to other people a lot because you
Yes.
need to wait for a project, you need to wait for a director, you need to wait for all of these things. And what's nice about artwork is that that's something that I completely have control over, much like podcasts. You know, it's just like something that we can do creatively at on our own time in our own schedule. To explore that side of ourselves. And so that was a really nice meditative thing. And so it sort of took on a life of its own, these drawings and these doodles.
Now, had you ever done any art? Had you ever done these types of line drawings before?
No, I'm not at all. Well, way back when actually I did some computer drawings where Mango Pop I tried to make these little characters for a greeting card type of endeavor a few years ago, and those were a little different though. They were more like character based, and but my dad is an artist, not for a living, but he definitely liked to draw. So I do have these faint memories when I was very young that he would draw this little character called Murphy, which was like a cartoonish kind of character that he would kind of like. We were in Hawaii, so it was like Murphy with a surfboard, Murphy with like a muscle truck. I don't know.
How cute.
But that was back in the day.
And what was Murphy? A little man?
Yeah, he's a little man. He always wore slippers. Well, flip flops, I guess you call them here. And you would always see his. He had very large toes. I remember that. Usually had a surfboard or a skateboard, hanging out in the islands.
Aww.
Yeah.
If we can get
I would love
a picture.
do you think your dad could take a photo or just draw a Murphy for us and then send it to us?
Yeah,
I
would
know.
love to
I think I
see
have
that.
something.
Cool,
I'll have to
cool.
find it.
Well, I think it's amazing that because you had no artistic training in terms of drawing.
Oh, no training. No training
and
at all.
if you'll see in the book, but I first saw it on Facebook. I mean, these are intricate, and they became more intricate and more involved.
Oh, thank you very much.
And so her
You can
whole
see it even on the
book,
cover.
yeah. So her whole book is actually littered. I don't mean to use that word in a bad way. It's littered with these line drawings, and so it is. I mean, I'm just do it really quick. It's like a workbook with
Yes.
quotes, and it's for you to develop your own creativity. Is that the idea?
Definitely, because I'm a fan of these types of workbooks myself, and I find that the good ones do a couple of things. They help you to discover your voice, to accept your voice and then to express your voice. And so that's what I really wanted to do with this. And so that's the mini journey that kind of is a through line through it. And that's something I think that happens, it doesn't end. You know, we get to different levels in our creativity and we hit roadblocks. So it's always a matter of going deeper of, okay, well, what can I discover that's signature to my voice? How can I make more space for that? And then how can I actually trust myself to get that out in the world? And then the process keeps continuing over and over and we go deeper and deeper, I think. So that's why that's definitely part of what I wanted to happen with it. With the book.
So for someone who is maybe not an artist, right? Someone who is, you know, has a 9-to-5 job, never has performed or done anything traditionally artistic before, and sees this at their local bookstore,
say
right?
You are a tax auditor.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to think of the dry
internal tax auditor.
Even worse.
Very.
You don't even meet other people.
No.
You're just auditing your own company. Talk about
lack of vitamin D. Okay.
Okay.
And then they go to their local bookstore or they're surfing on Amazon and this book pops up as a recommended just for you. Right?
I love it, right?
Right? Recommended just for
Sure.
you. What can someone like that take away from this?
Well, I think that, well, first of all, if it's a recommended just for you, I assume that this internal office auditor has been perusing books about art.
Good point.
So,
Right?
Keiko just punched a hole in your whole theory about this tax auditor.
Touché. Is that the word?
yeah, it totally is. But I think it's one of those things where there's a transition part that happens where people that are interested or appreciative of art sometimes don't know how to start trusting themselves in being able to create something themselves. And there's even a quote in the book that we were talking about earlier today from This American Life creator, and now I'm Ira Glass, of that sometimes even when we are lovers of something or really an appreciator of a certain type of art, that can sometimes be even more of a stumbling block because it's hard for us to then transition to seeing ourselves that way. So I would say for this fictional tax auditor that it would... That I've hopefully written a book that's a gentle way to draw that out in yourself, because it takes a little bit of bravery to change the way we see ourselves. And I think that's always the hardest part, is that it's always a process for how we're viewing ourselves and how we're able to accept that part of ourselves. And so from the auditor to, I promise, people who have been working in this business for a lot of years, that struggle doesn't go away. It just reaches different levels and different types of stumbling blocks. I think that challenge is always the same. So buy the book. So try it out and see if you like it or if it speaks to you. If it doesn't, you can give it away.
You know what's really interesting is at my corporate job, I've started to do improv.
Oh,
at
oh my
the job.
gosh, really?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I've been going to different departments teaching improv, like an hour and a half of improv.
Solo?
Just me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about me for a
No,
second.
let's do it. No, let's please.
It's hard having guests. So anyway, what I was going to say is that some of the groups that I've been teaching improv, one group, for example, was IT. So IT, you would think black and white,
Right?
You know, maybe
100011110, right?
Yeah. In a server room. And that's completely sorry, IT people.
Sorry.
Jenny Sanger was like, that is not what IT is. Anyway.
She's just like, yeah, that's not right. So anyway, Hi, Jenny Sanders.
That's our mutual friend, by the way.
She's
who works
fantastic.
in IT.
Really very talented musician.
She's an amazing.
Anyway, that being said, did improv with the IT team. They were probably one of the most creative groups.
There you go.
They were pulling stuff out from the deep recesses of their brains.
Wow.
And coming up with all kinds of cool stuff.
And do you think it was because they were the most pent up
Maybe.
of all the groups?
I also think, too, that in stereotypical kind of black and white departments like internal audit or IT, you would think to the lay person that would be, boring, black and white. But for them, they actually have to come up with creative ways to solve problems, right? If someone, the internal auditor, is looking at a spreadsheet, right, and they see 1 cent missing, and it's not calculated, they have to be creative in finding where else is that 1 cent, right? So I think that something like this is actually really helpful to get themselves out of their vacuum and out of their way of thinking, because actually they do it all the time, being creative in their approach, but they, might not have something as fun as this. I was looking at this earlier. That's what I think. What do you think? She's a scientist. Right, Ganru?
Yeah, what?
Back me up. You are, right? I mean, I never checked this out. I'm just taking your word for
I'm
it.
a chemist. That's my
chemist.
That's how I make money.
Wow, we are breaking stereotypes, you guys.
Breaking stereotypes
All
right
of
now.
them.
You know what I've always wondered,
Yeah.
though, and I'll pose this to you guys.
Yeah.
You know how so many technical, analytical people, like these IT people that you lead in your improv class, they have these hidden talents.
Yeah.
I mean, even Keiko, who we know for acting, you have a
God.
hidden drawing talent, right?
And other things like
Other things. What are the...
what?
What?
What are you trying to say?
What? Popcorn? She knows how to make good popcorn? What are you trying to say?
I'm trying not to pop my peas. So, puppeteering. Puppeteering.
For those who know, popping
That's
your peas is an annoying sound for
Yes.
podcasting. So we will say puppeteering.
I did not put my chapstick on today, so I have matte lipstick. So
So her lips are sticking together. But yes, puppeteering.
Puppeteering.
Yes.
And she also is an ace poker player.
Oh, yeah, that is true. That
Oh,
is
okay,
true.
she is not
All
even denying
We
it.
got to stop this podcast right now.
The modesty just flew out the window.
Yeah, I'm
Pasadena.
switching gears right now because we have to stop this so that we can all
Yeah.
get down to some Texas Hold'em.
Girl, I got my chips.
I know.
Weighted. They're weighted.
Now I'm excited.
She is.
Forget about this book stuff.
What?
Let's play some poker.
This
And
has turned into a gambling related podcast.
And Keiko is probably one of the most competitive.
What? No,
She will talk smack.
You know, it's all
I'm not cool. All my chill goes out the window. I'm
She's so
uncool.
collaborative, and there's no mistakes unless it's on how you ante
Yes.
up.
That's right.
If you don't ante up the right way, Keiko will come down on you.
Oh yeah, and then she totally comments on your decisions.
Your bad choices.
Yeah, so I'll be like, I raise,
You want to do? What did she say?
and she'll be like, I don't know why you want to do that.
okay,
'cause
let me-
you didn't.
okay,
You
let-
called on the term.
Let me tell you about Golda. Let me tell you Golda's move.
okay. All right,
Golda's
let's get the
poker
third.
move is this. I don't know. I don't play poker that much. I don't know that. I'm not that into poker, and she will just take all your money. That's Golda's move.
Oh,
She'll just
what?
what? Oh, did I just? Oh, I guess those are all my chips.
Is that a good hand? They're all the same color. Is that good?
What is that?
I like these cards because they were pretty. That's why I picked these.
I'm gonna put that on my reel. The dramatization of me playing poker.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played in a while, Keiko.
Yeah, no,
so,
yeah.
whenever
So,
you want to,
whatever.
just kind of friendly game.
Well, the reason I ask is, do you think that artists have, and I guess you answered it, do you think artists also have a very analytical secret thing they love to do? Obviously, yours is killing people in poker with your razor sharp statistical analysis of probabilities. But
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Like, is there
I hear
a
ya.
saxophone player who's like, oh, I love Excel. Man, when I'm getting down on that Excel spreadsheet, I'm in my zone.
Pivot tables.
Yeah,
Should there be a workbook?
Excel tablets or Excel tables are great. I mean, they do the calculations for you. I mean,
Right. Or like if
Something great.
there's someone who's like, their mom
guess.
forced them to be a triple threat in Broadway, and they're like, oh, but I love tax codes. Do you think there's
Yeah,
those
what
options?
non-artistic thing are you good at or that you like to do? What seemingly unartistic?
that's
or
a good question.
non-artistic?
I don't know exactly because I might bust the proposition that we're putting forth here because the reason why I like poker is not because I'm good at math or probabilities or it's percentages or anything. I just love to read people.
Okay, yeah.
So I think
So you're 80%
And win.
in the artistic.
what'd you say?
And win.
And win.
Let me
No,
just
yes.
keep it real for a second, Keiko. It's not just because she wants to read people. It's because she wants to take their money.
She wants
And then look at the people, read them as they're devastated.
But this works totally getting off track. But Golda, we play for like $10
That's
antes.
true. For like 5 hours.
We're not big money
Yeah,
players.
we'll lose $10 in 5 hours.
And we'll talk about it for a long time.
Yeah, and we'll never forget
Now,
those
do you want to play
stories.
with us, Wanru? Have we made
totally
it attractive?
fun.
Wait,
Totally
so-
fun.
Sound attractive to you?
You've described one person who's completely a psychic who will read you and then also use that against you. And then you have another person who's a master poker face person who will
Yes.
deceive you. I don't think I'm going to just give you guys each $10 because I think I'm
Okay.
going to lose for sure.
We're absolutely the best poker players in our little poker group. That's right. I said it, Ryan Suda.
Oh my God.
That's right. I said it, Glenn Surovich.
Oh, this is
Anytime.
wow, this is incendiary right here. I mean, this is gonna.
I'm not afraid. Am I stuttering?
Oh my
Love it. Diva. Are we going to rename this podcast?
Oh yeah, let's talk about this real quick.
Do you have
We
any?
keep talking about poker.
Besides, we're talking smack about
Yeah.
poker. Do you have any questions for Keiko related to just anything but poker?
Yeah, I would say like when I was looking at this earlier, and you have a lot of different really great exercises that people can do. What's one exercise in here that you think
It's
is the
good-
most effective?
Good for the IT guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this is the most effective, but I will describe an exercise that I think is a dangerous exercise. Would you like to hear about the dangerous exercise?
yeah.
We're dangerous.
So I even preface it by saying this is not for everyone.
Oh,
So you do not have to do this exercise.
intriguing.
But it is something that I did myself. And so I can honestly promote it. So here's the exercise.
Clear your throat. No, no, that wasn't it. Sorry.
That
Okay.
wasn't it. So it's a time limit exercise.
Oh, okay.
So it's potentially putting a time limit on yourself of saying, let's choose something that I even care a lot about, but say, look, I'm going to put a time limit on this. Maybe it's 5 years, and say, if I am not this thing that I want in this way at the end of 5 years, that I'm going to walk away.
Oh.
So the reason why, so it sounds dangerous, but the reason why is twofold, and you don't have to do this, but the reason why it's twofold. One, then that means for that amount of time, then it really focuses you because there's an end to it. I'm only giving myself this certain amount of time and then I'm not doing it. So you're going to bust ass.
Right.
And then the second thing, potentially, is if you have, and at the end of that certain amount of time, then you can really, I think, surrender and let go and say, awesome, this isn't for me. I'm going to take this love that I have for this and find the vessel that is better suited for this energy and passion and love that I have. I'm going to look in another direction and invest in that.
Wow, that's tough. because I've been playing poker, and I happen to think I'm very good at it. No, I hear you, because I think there's also this other school of thought that says that in order to actually achieve something, you do have to give yourself a deadline, because I feel like it also spurs you on to move in the direction of that goal. If that goal is always going to be there, there's that dangerous place that you can drift. You're just drifting. And then before you know it, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years has passed and nothing's happening, right? So it's almost getting yourself out of that comfort zone. Yeah.
I would say, though, there's probably two types of artistic
Yes.
pursuits, right? So one is more, I would say, open-ended, like drawing. I would say for me, she knows I'm taking this aerial silks class, which I'm no good at. But I'm like, okay, here's something I could do. It's open-ended. I don't have a goal like I'm going to join the circus or I'm going to be in
Right.
Cirque du Soleil or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
But let's say hypothetically,
Yeah.
I'm not laughing because it's a stupid endeavor, but it's a stupid endeavor for me. Like at age 42, I'm like, I'm going to be in Cirque du Soleil in 5 years. So if
Right.
I really set a goal, like I'm going to train my body, I'm going to become incredibly limber. I don't know how, but let's say I set a goal for myself, 5 years to run away with the circus. That's my end goal. Whereas if it's more like, oh, this is fun and I enjoy it and it's a way to get my mind off of things, you can have no end date for that.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. It depends on what it is you want from it.
Right.
So of all the bounty of the things that we do and fill our life, there are only going to be those few things that kind of fall in that category of maybe that you would like to set a time limit
Yeah.
on. And this exercise actually didn't come necessarily from me. I was around 2000 and I was at the East West Players. They had a conservatory summer program or something, and they had a guest speaker that came in, and he actually talked about this idea, and that's where I got the impetus for it. And the reason why it touched me so much when he was talking about it is that he was talking about people that he knew, and I'm talking about acting at this point, but in this scenario, but that had gotten a bitterness.
Yes.
And that scared me. That's when he described a kind of a bitterness that had happened to people that he knew, because he had transitioned into something else.
Yeah.
That hit me in a way like whatever I have in my life, I don't want to walk away bitter. So
I know exactly what
Do you
you
know what I
mean.
mean?
And I think especially with acting, and we know a lot of actors, that's actually how we first met, is through East West and the
Yeah.
Asian American acting community here in LA, is because acting is, how should I say, this is my description. It is very open-ended as to what will happen to you
Yeah.
in that career. And even if you obtain a certain thing, there's a lot of dissatisfaction in general, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, beating yourself up.
Yeah.
And just, it's kind of like, it fucks with your mind, let's just say, right? So I love that idea of going hard at it so that you don't have this, if you're not in this limbo of this unknown that you're creating for yourself. And is that what he meant when he was describing the
yeah,
getting the
that's what he proposed when he was talking about this when I in 2000 when I saw him then. Yeah. So I yeah.
What was
Yeah.
what was your goal? Like after you heard that, did you come up with a goal like right after that?
Yeah, I mean, I was acting or wanted to act professionally, and so it was definitely in that vein. So I did think that to myself of like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can walk away from this. So let me put my energy into it, but with that thought of, okay, I might walk away from this. So let me just, come at it as hard as I can. And not feel guilty. Cause that's the other thing, because this is not for everybody, but there's also this kind of guilt. do you know when if you do walk away or want to transition into something, you know,
yeah.
where people will say, oh, you quote unquote gave up on your dream or something, or you didn't, you know, there's all this other negative talk on the other side of it. And what I wanted to think of, well, maybe not. Maybe there's something else, because he was also I wish I remembered the details, but he was successful on the producing side of things. You know, so maybe there is something amazing for you that that is just waiting for you that you don't know yet because you're so focused on one thing that you're not even opening your eye to what other things you're talented at. Was the idea.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. I think you can apply that to many areas of your life. For example, let me give another
let's hear
example.
it.
Like, let's say you said, I wanted to be a competitive triathlete, right? And I think most people have the opposite view of guilt, which is, I really want to train to be a triathlete, but I feel guilty because it's taking time away from my family. It's taking time away from my job. Shouldn't I be investing my energy into, you know, lifting up my career in whatever they're doing? So I think most of the guilt is associated with pursuing the artistic or creative thing.
There's that too.
So
Yes.
to give yourself that license, I'm sorry, I'm going to neglect you for 5 years. Sorry. I'm going to go play professional poker 5 years.
Have you ever heard those acceptance of Oscar speeches? It's usually an apology.
Is it?
Interesting.
Case in point, Ryan Gosling, when he won for LA Story. Or LA Connection. No, that's an improv.
It's LA
group.
something.
LA something, the one where they're dancing, etc. He actually apologized to his wife, Eva Mendes, and said, I'm sorry, thank you for being so patient to her and my kids, for taking time away so that I can learn how to do this and tap and sing and play the piano and everything else that he did for that movie. And it was an apology to his family.
Yeah.
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 It's hard. I mean, there are no easy answers because it's true. There are sacrifices that are made. It's not always just you. It's not always the artist.
No.
It's a lot is, you know, their spouse, their kids,
Yeah.
their job that you're like sneaking away.
Yes.
To, like, I'm sick. No, I have an audition in Santa Monica.
That never happens.
I can't code today.
I can't even relate to that in any way. I love my job.
Right.
Golda, can you show us the coder again? This is her.
Turn up the air conditioning.
What? This is her version of a coder of an IT.
I'm sorry, IT.
I'm sorry, IT department.
sorry.
I know you're going to
IT.
get so many letters and email
mail?
contact. Nobody actually mails things anymore, but what is it? Comments? You're going to get so many comments.
It's fine. It's good.
A neat little thing about the book, but by the way, back to the book.
Yes.
Is you can actually tear out pages.
Oh,
right?
yes, you can. You can tear out pages. You can.
I feel weird about that though, Keiko.
I know. It's
But
like
I love it. And also, some of
Yeah.
these pages is art.
So you can
You know, you could
you
put
can take
up.
it out and just look at it so you can read it and remind yourself. But if you draw something and it resonates with you, you can tear it out.
You can.
and put
You
it
can put it up
on your
somewhere.
computer monitor at
That's
work
right.
when you're programming. And that was designed specifically, right? You should be able to.
Yeah,
tear it
you
out.
can definitely tear it out. And then I just
great.
thought of this today, but you could also subtly send messages to people.
ooh.
You could
What do you
use
mean?
this page. You could use this page.
maybe on the
That's
confession page.
That's a fully passive aggressive way to use this book.
So for an example, like for what? For
I
example,
don't know.
So like
Like
this,
you need to breathe more and then tear
Yeah.
out the page and just send.
or this page that says "die," maybe
No.
too aggressive.
That
too
would be
aggressive at
taken
work.
out of context.
Yeah, you could also
Yeah.
get HR involved.
And can people use this workbook? Like, do they have to do it sequentially, or can you just
Oh, no.
pop around and
Definitely.
okay?
I love it.
Great.
I love it so much.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I really
love
appreciate you
it.
saying that.
That's a
No.
lot coming from your biggest poker
I know.
competitor. Woo!
Yeah.
So good.
I mean,
So good.
one last thing I was going to say, this is going back to what we were saying initially
Sure.
about just starting, is I think people are so hard on themselves.
They are.
Oh my God.
In just starting?
in anything
Everything.
creative. Like they feel like as soon as they begin this thing,
Yes.
they gotta be a freaking Leonardo
They have to
da
be perfect.
Vinci. I was gonna
Yes.
say Leonardo DiCaprio, who is also
Who is
an
also great.
amazing,
Who's also great.
The
amazing
Reverend was
actor.
underrated.
But Leonardo started when he was like a little baby. He was like 6 or 7 when he started.
Yeah, he was in
acting,
Growing
right?
Pains. Remember that?
So, if you, let's say hypothetically, you were going to be like, I'm going to take an improv class. And you're like, oh, I'm no Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
He's been doing it since he
Yeah.
was 6 or 7. And I hate keep bringing it back to my Aerial Silks class, but I did
That
it.
Groupon's getting a lot of mileage.
I did it because of a Groupon. My coworker said, there's a Groupon. It's right behind the road, right behind our work. Would you be interested? I was like, I don't know, sure. And I had a blast because
And you're loving it, right?
I'm
That's so
loving it.
great. That's so great. Isn't that great?
Isn't it
when you
nuts?
find something that just like you
Yeah.
love and look forward to.
yeah, right. And,
Yeah, and it's not like it was on your radar before at all.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. And
Yeah.
I think the reason why I enjoy it so much is because I know I am gonna suck at it. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way. I was not a gymnast. I was not a dancer. But all the people in my class who were hardest on themselves, they did some other type of sport. So a girl came in and she was like a almost professional ice skater. She was a gymnast. So when she couldn't do the most basic moves in the Aerial Silks class, not like I could either, she was just beating herself up. And I said, everybody sucks initially.
Yeah.
There is no natural, it is not natural for us to hang from 2 pieces of polyester fabric, right?
Yeah.
So,
Wait, it's not silk?
sorry.
Okay.
Well, and
Sorry.
George Clooney didn't emerge from the womb looking like he did.
Did he though? Maybe.
I know.
Can
He
you
looked
imagine
pretty
us?
good.
Let's just think about
Look,
that.
look
maybe.
at some old footage from that one show with all of the girls in the boarding school. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Facts of
Mrs.
Life?
Garrett.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
he
it
was a funky looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
think
started
looked
looking
okay.
good in
I think
ER.
he looked okay.
Yeah.
No, you only think he looks okay now because you know what he looks like now.
So we're laying that on those images.
but
on.
back in the day, he wasn't. No, he was weird looking. He looks like that gazelle that just comes out of the.
A wobbly.
But then they grow up and then they're beautiful. But
See?
at first they look freakish.
I imagine baby George Clooney like coming out with his gray beard already.
Yeah. Me too. It's disturbing.
Anyway, I'm sorry. So the
so
skill,
basically,
the perfectionist lady.
How do you
Yeah.
release that a little bit?
Yeah.
I would say,
Well,
yeah.
Here's the interesting thing, though, and that I love to think about this idea is expectation, because we all, right, we have these descriptors of ourselves and what we're good at and what we're not good at, whether that's right or wrong. And so if it's something we think we're good at or quote unquote should be good at, we set our expectations so high.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like everything is in negative. Like it has to be perfect. And then anything that's not perfect, we're just dealing in negatives, just dealing in stress. Whereas if you're coming into it with this just open, like, why would I be good at this aerial thing?
Why,
Like,
in the
would I?
world would I be good at this, right?
And then you're like, oh, so I'm going from 0 and then it's all positive. So,
Right.
oh, well, I can do this thing that I couldn't do yesterday, which is true for that other girl too.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
so then it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then every new skill that you learn or do is all like in a more joyful way. That's what I'm trying to do in my life right now. It's to like recalibrate all these things that I quote unquote think that I'm supposed to be good at. And try to take more just joy. And I think a lot of it has to do with what I expect or what I think that I'm supposed to be good at,
So
What do you think?
you're challenging yourself, right? As far as your own expectations
Yeah.
of yourself and what other people might think of you as well.
Yeah.
But more, who cares about them, right?
Yeah,
it's more like for you,
like
right?
What your self image of how you see yourself,
And you know what else? Because I see you doing this, and this is throughout the years, and this is one of the reasons why I've said time and again that Keiko reminds me of a modern day Renaissance woman. True. No, I'm not saying that just because she's here and I'm, better at poker than she is. Not because of that.
We are so playing as soon as this camera goes off.
We're clearing the table.
I got
We're starting
the
to clear
ATM card ready, burning a hole in my pocket. Anyway, no, but what I was saying was that I've seen you do so many different artistic endeavors and being really great at each and every one of them, and not and not one after the other, but sometimes even simultaneously, and you manage to, at least, optically for me, it seems like it's just easy for you to do. And now I realize that you're doing those things because you're genuinely interested in those things. But you should also know that you have folks who are inspired by seeing you do those things. So I think that's one of the great things about Keiko is that she is an embodiment of, as an example to all of us, as far as just going into it. You don't have to come out fully emerged like George Clooney, evidently, but actually just go for it.
Didn't you say he was a gazelle? Even he did not come out fully emerged. He came out like a gazelle, and then he became a beautiful stag.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
George Clooney, the stag.
see it stag.
Let's take a moment.
See, in post, they're supposed to put George Clooney's face on a.
That's what Gertie's gonna do. Gertie, our
Right? There's
producer.
a huge post department, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we got a team of one.
Whatever
phenomenal.
you want, Keiko, just say it now. We'll put it in there for you. Whatever you want.
I'd like to go in and CJ all any freckles or.
Oh girl, we were just talking about freckles.
Link thing in my neck.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, right.
I've got.
We'll just.
You
Give me
can.
hair.
You could
Just give me a
do
big
certain
hair.
things with your facial muscles to make you look like you have a longer neck.
What is that?
So apparently you're supposed to use these muscles, which you can achieve by doing face yoga.
Wait.
Face yoga.
Yeah, so
This is a whole topic. Don't
you
get her
just have
started.
to,
Don't get her
clench your-
started.
So this is regular.
Okay. For those at home who
Face
are listening
yoga.
to the podcast,
So I'm doing things with my facial muscles to extend my neck.
okay. So describe what you're doing with your face so that we can all extend our necks right
So
now.
I am focusing my brain on my cheek muscles because there is such a thing.
I'm
trying to do it.
I don't know what
And then
tense your cheek muscles.
Your cheek muscles.
Okay.
Yes. And then you're going to pretend that you're going to lift it to your eyebrows.
Like
My
squint?
cheeks? See, because I feel like my eyebrows are going up,
See?
not my cheeks. It's
Wait,
hard.
are we squinting?
No.
Golda's
Yeah,
face
yeah.
is completely still. I
This is
see no
gonna-
changes. What
This
changes
is an
are
advanced level, Wanru. That's why you don't need to see it. It's just happening.
She's like, you guys tense your cheeks and bring them up to your eyes, and now
And there's
extend your
nothing-
length.
nothing
Same
moving.
face. No changes. No
You know what I
changes.
love about what we're talking about right now? There are no mistakes
No mistakes.
to what we're talking about. We're just tangenting. I love it. But anyway, going back to Miss Keiko and her Renaissance woman,
Sure.
modern day and Renaissance woman is, definitely. Sometimes I feel like don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's like one of my favorite
Yeah.
quotes.
Right?
of
Who
all
said
time.
that? Do we know? No.
And I
It's
think
on the internet.
I think it was
will
But
find
that's
out.
a great
Maybe.
one. That's
I
so
Super
know.
Soul Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's true, right?
Right. So rather than failing to meet that benchmark you set for yourself in your mind,
Yeah.
just celebrate those little successes, those little breakthroughs that you have. Almost like give yourself that generosity that you
Yes.
would with like a toddler.
Yes.
When a
Exactly.
toddler does anything, you're like, oh my God, you drew a squiggly line.
Yeah.
Right? And we give them all this leeway, and then they get better and they get better. You're like, this is a piece of shit. I'm not putting this on my refrigerator. But eventually they get really good. So
Yeah.
why not give yourself that leeway as well, that generosity?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I actually heard that in Psychology Today or something, where they're talking about negative self-talk and how you have to envision, bust out a picture of yourself when you were a little kid, like a 2-3-year-old, right? And say to that picture what you say to yourself, like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be an
couldn't.
artist, or, would you say that to that 2 or 3-year-old kid?
Oh, just thinking about doing that makes me
Mean, huh?
tense.
Yeah.
I
So,
would-
yeah.
I would definitely say I was a very drooly baby. So I would probably say to myself,
You need to eat
you need
green
to,
apples.
to stop the drooling. Does that really work?
The acid
No, maybe.
helps suck it up.
You're
apparently.
perfect just as you are, but maybe just wipe some of that slobber between the folds. I had a big double neck
Did
situation.
you?
Yeah, my aunt told me.
Cute.
But see, when you're a kid, you don't care about that. right?
Right.
I just living your life. And then my aunt she told me I had just layers of fat and the slobber would get trapped and it would get really, but whatever, I was a happy kid. I was
How
a
old
happy
were you
kid.
when she said this?
An adult, though. That's great. That's when you should
25?
talk about
Yesterday.
faults.
Then maybe
Yesterday.
you should investigate the salivary glands.
Okay. All right. So I would love to ask one more thing.
Okay.
I would like to ask you, what is the most generous thing creatively someone has done for you? Because this goes back to being generous with yourself. But I feel like in our endeavors, artistic endeavors, sometimes you encounter somebody who just, oh my God, they are so generous with you that they just inspired you to pursue whatever you're doing. And I think when you talk about Keiko being a Renaissance woman, you
Yeah.
also mentioned another keyword was generosity.
Absolutely.
And when someone who can take time to get out of their own head from one artist to another to give you a moment of clarity and generosity, I think that's the greatest gift you can give to someone.
Yeah.
So can you think of a moment that, and you too, Golda, putting it on you too, when somebody was just so generous to you creatively?
Oh boy, that happens a lot, I feel, in any sort of projects that we've done. I mean, I can think of, for example, when we were taping our album, Durwood album, and bringing all of these amazing artists and musicians together, and how giving everyone was of their time and artistry, and and how there was that dedication to just constantly just keep adding and enhancing, and having that space to do it. What about you, Keiko?
It's interesting because it's so okay. Here's the thing. This is why I'm stuttering. Is that I can't get my brain around the most generous thing that anyone has ever done for me. That is partly associated with artistry, but not necessarily so. But when I was in high school, a friend of mine actually and her mom let me stay with them, and I actually lived with them for a year and a half. And then my acting teacher, I stayed with her for like a summer before I went off to college, and so when you said generosity, to me, that's like by far the most incredible, generous thing that anyone has ever done for me. And so it was hard for me to kind of switch out to artistic generosity. But I will say that to me, that kind of generosity is something that I do think about, of how to ever repay that in some way in the world. I do feel like that's just one of many gifts that I've been given. I've been so fortunate. I mean, so fortunate to receive. And so I do hope that in my life, in any capacity, that I can try to put back into that bucket of what's been I've been given so much. Yeah.
That's amazing. So they fed you and housed you.
Yeah.
For a year and a half,
Yes.
each of them, or a year or so.
Yeah. My friend Nicole and her mom, Kathy, they did, and we were, and it's, and they weren't, I mean, we had, it wasn't necessarily easy. I mean, we took one granola bar and what was our lunch? I don't know. It was like, I feel like it was like a not cup of noodle, but granola bar and like an orange and something was our packed lunch, or sandwich or something. So it wasn't like, I don't know. It was an incredibly generous thing to do. So
And that's what people don't see. Also, is
Oh,
all the
God.
behind the scenes and the support
Yes.
that artists get as well.
Totally. And this is the other thing too. It's like, it's great to have artistic collaborations, but there's so many people that that don't get the fame. I mean, we're lucky, we get people see us, you get that kind of, there are so many people who work on artistic projects, like from stage managers to people who are coordinating, who are sending out all those emails, who are trying to get the food for the project, who are there to clean up afterward. I mean, there's so many people that it takes to make anything artistic happen that don't get the credit.
Yeah, they don't get the spotlight.
So I have a story, but I am struggling to think of her name, which is very embarrassing. I keep saying Marilyn Takuda, but it's not Marilyn. No, Marilyn Takuda is amazing.
It's from EWPP.
Yeah, inspiring woman, but she's an actress. I hate to say, I've kind of forgot her name.
What's she in?
Karate Kid.
Oh, Tamlin Tomita.
Tamlin Tomita.
Yes.
Sorry, I was.
Yeah.
Okay, so
great
my
actor.
moment is Tamlin Tomita, well-known actress, and also an amazing supporter in the.
She's incredible.
Incredible. So I don't know her very well, but one time after an improv show, we had all gone to see an improv show. I was not performing. I was in this group. I had performed for a while, but due to my work schedule, I just didn't perform. She took me aside and she said, "Why don't you perform anymore?" I said, "Oh, I don't have my work schedule and blah, blah, blah." She goes, "That's not a good reason." Or something like that, She pretty much gave me, it was almost like a drill sergeant, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? And she really gave it to me in a very matter-of-fact way. And she took me aside to do that. And I said, wow, how I was so appreciative of her. Just her 1 minute, her 2 minute of her complete attention. And every single time I see her, she goes like, "Oh, hi, nice to see you." And then she does a little double take "Are you performing?"
Wow.
So she continues to give me these little reminders.
Really
I say
nice.
nagging, but these little reminders, and she reminds me that someone saw something in me. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
No,
I have to. She reminds me of who I am. Oh, she's so sweet. So Marilyn,
Marilyn.
love you.
Tamlin.
Love you. Yeah.
And I have to piggyback on that because I am such a fan of both of you.
What? No. Yes, but go on.
Yeah, why just not there?
For real.
No, don't.
No, for real.
Go ahead.
And I know how talented you are, Ronra.
Oh,
and I am.
no.
Yes,
Totally.
I do.
Agreed.
I do. You're incredible.
I'm sending her air kisses right now.
Yes.
And
Golda, yes. And Golda, I'm not only friends with you, but also just a talented performer, a comedian, actress, singer, everything. And this is
don't
my
have to say
absolute.
But please describe in further detail.
But genuinely, I was so excited that that Golda contacted me to be on this podcast. I am so and video. I mean, I am such a supporter of both of you. Whatever you do, whatever either of you do, going forward in any capacity, I am so on board for that. I mean, I love you guys.
But she's still gonna kick your ass in poker.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much money you got in your pocket there, girl?
$10. It's always $10.
4 hours worth of poker.
I know.
$10.
Cheap. It's cheap fun.
Thank you so much, Keiko. That's really very sweet. I mean, I think that's definitely. I think it makes a difference when you have a community that's so supportive, and I think that is something that doesn't happen overnight, right? And I think it's a testament to how you do have to kind of just keep chipping away at it, and in a lot of ways, I feel like your tribe will manifest, right? Yeah. And your friends will manifest, and I think that it's really great and inspiring to be able to have such a wonderful community. And I think that these communities exist everywhere, right? And it's a matter of just finding that tribe, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You're so lovely. But I have another question for you. I know that it sounded like a button. That sounded like it was going to be the end. Oh, we're not done yet. 2 more hours. I had a question because this is something that I go through. And that is that I get into what I call the doldrums.
Oh, yes.
And the doldrums is when I get caught up in the everyday, the routine, and before I know it, a week has passed by, right? And then I start feeling like, I think I need to do something creative. I haven't done anything really creative, but I don't know how to get myself out of the doldrums, right? It's almost like I'm on a ride and I can't get off. right? I'm on this non-creative ride and I can't get off, but I feel like something's pulling me to be creative. So for those instances, and I think I'm not alone there, where you start getting into this routine way of life, and you start to these little flickers of this isn't right. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. How can No Mistakes, how can the book help you in those scenarios where you feel stuck, where you feel like I'm caught in my everyday?
Well, what do you usually do?
Cry?
I'm just curious. Yeah.
Fried chicken solves many problems. No, I'm on keto.
Baked chicken.
What do
solves
I
many
do?
problems.
I mean, I think that I think sometimes I just let it ride.
Yeah.
I let it ride, but then I get uncomfortable in the letting it ride. Like I almost feel like I'm wasting time, or I should be doing something else.
But then what do you usually do when you do something after that? Like, what is the first thing that you usually do
to get myself out of it? I think that what has helped kind of kickstart and get me out of the doldrums is if I see Ganru, or if I see you, or if I meet other creative people. That's usually, like my crack. It's my, I start like, it's like I need to see my friends.
She starts fainting for that
I think
artistic hit.
that has helped for sure. I think also what has helped is watching TV.
Yeah.
And seeing people be really good at what they're doing, and that's inspiring to me. Music is also very inspiring to me. Now I have No Mistakes as a way to kind of get myself out of it. I was looking through this earlier, and I'm like, I could totally see myself doing many of the exercises in here and it happens more often than not.
Yeah.
Vision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's nice to have something that a tangible thing,
a physical thing that you can actually go to, that doodle, and like something simple, something small to start.
I think so. Because I think that, I feel like where this is very effective versus just like turning on Netflix is that it is something that I can, like, once you start physically going through something, I think that's different than watching something. Right? Or even listening to something, but actually going through the motion of the activity, is a good way to really let it land.
Yeah. And actually, there's so many variety of activities. It's not just drawing, it's thinking. It's also, you have something like tips on take a break. Right?
Yeah. And writing and different things like that. But what I think is kind of fun is that everybody has something different. And I think it's totally fine, anything like Netflix or going to see your friends. That's huge. And what's interesting to me is that you have that little thread, right? Golda, you have that thread.
Yep.
So that and that's how see, that's your body physically telling you that you're not on this other track that you want to be at, that you're doing this day to day, but there's something that's almost
pulling
feels like it's pulling you, right?
Keiko
and
Agena.
so,
yeah.
So that's that sign. That's that sign to yourself to listen to that message and to go seek out. And I have one thing in here that's like the turtle and hare analogy of like, the race between the tortoise and the hare is that the tortoise wins because it's slow and plodding and kind of does something every day. And that's true. But in my feeling is that it's both. We're both. Like sometimes we're erratic and super passionate and excited and we get a lot done. Great. And sometimes we're not. And I think that's fine. Like when you're not feeling it, then maybe just do a little thing here, and just kind of plod for a while. And that's great. It's not, I think my main thing is just to kind of take off all of the shoulds and the have tos. And because all that kind of negativity just kind of feels like it's pressing you down further. So then first we have to like get that off before you can even start doing anything else. Because we start layering ourselves with all these like guilt about what I haven't. My last week has been whatever.
Yeah.
So what? Who cares? Fuck it. So you needed an ice cream week. Great. It doesn't, or what, it's just like, it was one of those weeks. Doesn't
So forgive
matter.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
Allow yourself that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
that's right.
I think.
Yeah, I need to bust out that picture of me
As a 2-year-old,
as a 2-year-old, and I was in my little sailor outfit.
Cute.
Yeah,
I think
That's
I
the
have one
graphics
of
department,
those.
right?
it's my little sailor outfit.
I think I have one of those too.
You have you had a sailor
You also
outfit?
had, what's going on?
Wait, did you have a whole
sailor?
Montgomery Wards? Was it at Montgomery Wards?
No, but I have a series. Do you have the same series? I was a sailor. I was a Native American. It's very un-PC. I was dressed as a little Native American.
I was ISIS. Remember
What?
ISIS?
What? Wait.
No, there
what?
was a superhero named ISIS.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Not
was-
that ISIS.
I was thinking of
no, that would be really
terrorists.
bad. Oh my
You're
God.
dressed
You were
as a little
dressed as a
terrorist.
terrorist?
No, that would be bad. No, this was a program in the 70s when I was a child, and it was a program called ISIS.
Oh.
Probably a bad idea now. Yeah, probably not.
Graphics department, get on that. We'll get these photos up
Yeah,
there.
but anyway, yeah, I was that. What else were you? Were you anything? You didn't. Did you have the overalls? Do you have the overalls picture? The blue overalls?
The only thing I can remember, I wasn't a big Halloweener. Was this for Halloween or no?
No, this is just every day.
Oh, it wasn't, right?
Every day. No.
It was just, you
No.
go to a portrait studio, they have
yeah.
these
Portrait
clothes
studio.
already.
Yeah, or like school photos. The school photos.
You were
like,
dressed as a superhero for a school photo?
it was a very progressive school.
We'll post those up on our
Anyway.
YouTube channel. What was I going to say?
The sailor outfit.
No. I
Yeah.
was going to say.
We were the village people.
Between me and her, we just needed
I
a
got
little
it.
construction worker and we would have been set.
And a disco ball.
Yeah. I was going to say, are there any more things you want to wrap up before we get to her?
Oh yeah, we
Last
have that
question.
one thing.
Should we go?
Yeah, let's
Let's
dive
get-
into it.
All right. So we always do a segment called Girl, You Got To. Tips, lifestyle hacks, that thing that, if you get together with your girlfriend, you're really excited to share with her. Or boyfriend. So, Keiko, what is your Girl, You Got To?
Girl, you got to start a food journal.
Oh!
Tell us more.
Tell us more.
So I really shouldn't use this as a tip because I'm only on day 4, which I feel like I haven't really.
That's a lot.
What?
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
But it's like exciting though.
What do you
Okay.
have in the food journal?
Well, see, here's the thing is like I'm going easy on myself. So I used to be like really trying to be really structured because I've tried this before. Like you write down the time, you write like really specific and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And now I'm just kind of. It's more. I guess it's more like a diary because
Okay.
I also but I put down like what I eat and then how I feel because my thing is that I'm not real great about knowing like cause and effect. Like I won't realize why I'm feeling so bad. And also I have a little skin allergy sometimes. And so I'm doing it also to try to help me problem solve like my moods
Yeah.
or like how I'm being affected by things. So even just the act of writing it down and thinking about it and not being so hard on myself, like if I miss something or anything like that, I kind of like it. So it's my new thing. It's it's very
Cool.
new.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. How has it changed you so far in the 4 days?
Well, I've noticed that, and I know this, but it's just reiterating to me that if I eat, just eat a really big meal before I go to sleep at night, it just kind of throws everything off. So I'm trying, and coffee. I'm trying to switch also from coffee to green tea. I feel a lot better.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of, coffee, I love coffee.
I know you love
I love coffee,
coffee.
but it kind of makes me do more of a a roller coaster. So whereas green tea is kind of more steady.
So after you drink coffee, do you experience a huge crash? Like you get lower energy than when before you drink the coffee?
And when I wake up in the morning, when I'm drinking coffee regularly, I wake up in a worse mood. Until I get the coffee, I'm really like crunchy, like very negative and very like stressed. That's just my chemistry, I think. My bio.
Yeah. Actually, it's so funny. Now we're going off on a tangent here, but I hear there are fast caffeine metabolizers and slow caffeine metabolizers. So
She's a chemist.
Yeah, tell me.
I just listened to NPR. Okay, this is where I learned it from. So basically, some people burn through caffeine fast. So those are people kind of like you where they get a strong hit, but then they kind of dip back to a lower level than what they had before. And they're like, I need another cup. Those are the ones that need cup after cup. Whereas I'm a slow metabolizer, meaning I got to be careful. If I drink a little bit too much in the morning at 11 o'clock at night, my eyes will still be open.
Really?
Yeah, I have a hard time sleeping. So if I don't drink coffee by 9 p.m., I am super sleepy. I'm ready for bed at 9 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, regardless of what time I wake up. But I'm a slow metabolizer. So
I had not heard that before.
Not either.
So Tim Ferriss, he's, this entrepreneur. He's a fast metabolizer. He switched over to green tea. He gets that steady burn. He's like, you two have stumbled upon the same thing.
Okay.
Look at you and that the entrepreneur. You guys are in the same fast
Like this?
metabolism.
What about you, Golda? You like coffee.
I love me some coffee.
That's all she's going to say about that.
Wait, you're not going to tell us what kind of metabolizer you are?
I can drink coffee and then I can go to sleep right away.
Fast
I can
metabolizer.
I can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
And regardless of what I'm eating.
All right,
I'm a machine.
well, that is an awesome girl you got to.
Yes. What is yours, Miss Wanru?
Well, I think I'll let Keiko, that was a great girl you got to. So I think we'll let her do that this week. But maybe we can do our wrap up as to our takeaway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. What is your takeaway?
First of all, we have come to the end of this podcast. Aww. This has been so
much fun.
Lovely. My gosh. So when you go home today in your car, ride home, what will be your takeaway? I already have one. Do you guys need
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. What's yours?
I'm never playing poker with the two of you.
That's right.
Because I will get fleeced. I will go home wearing like a plastic bag.
It's fine.
Because I'm going to get $10 and then another $20 and I'm going to buy in and I'm going to try to, throw my jewelry down. I think is what's going to happen. So that's my takeaway.
Well, it's really funny as you're saying that is I know that Keiko and I are already thinking of ways to take your money.
I knew it.
So you're right. Miss Keiko, what is your takeaway from today?
My takeaway from today is going to be something that you said, Golda, of how to get out of doldrums to meet up with people. Because today, I was really looking forward to coming today because I knew I was going to see you guys and we're all so busy. I don't see people often, and it's nice. I forget about that simple thing, So I'm going to take that away from me because today has been so fun too.
Aww. Yay! Well, thanks again for being here.
What about your takeaway?
Oh yeah,
what's my takeaway? My takeaway is
you're amazing at facial yoga. Just amazing facial yoga list.
You can take years off your face if you develop your cheek muscles. Again, it's a real thing. My takeaway from today is actually in regards to no mistakes. This is the perfect title too, by the way. And I think it really hits a nerve for a lot of folks, including myself, and that being that we are a little too hard on ourselves, right? And it's nice to be able to take this off my bookshelf or off my coffee table and have that message immediately translated to me like, you have no mistakes, Golda. It'll be fine. So in a lot of ways, it feels like this part should be no mistakes. Everything will be okay, Golda. So with that, thank you, Keiko Agena. How can people learn more about you or keep in contact with you?
Oh, well, I am on my social media things are Twitter. I'm at Keiko Agena. It's pretty simple because I think I'm Keiko Agena everywhere on Instagram and Facebook. And then my website is, but I'm not on that very much, but it's Ms. Keiko Agena because I think Keiko Agena is taken from with someone else. I let it lapse and then, that's somebody
You
else.
damn squatter. And then where can they get the book?
Oh, yes. So you can get it on Amazon. There are other places too, Barnes & Noble, but I'm kind of an Amazon person. So, yeah. So look up No Mistakes, Keiko Agena. You can find it there. And then if you do follow me, I have it all over the place on my social media things in the description and stuff.
And also you are, you and Will Choi are the wonderful hosts of a great show called Asian AF.
Yes.
Here in Los Angeles at Upright Citizens Brigade, as well as other parts of the country.
Yeah, there's one in New York right now. So we have one show a month here in LA, and then we have one show a month in New York. And there's also some offshoots. A very successful show is Filipino AF, which now has had, I think they're on their 5th show now. And last time at the Inner Sanctum, there were like 300 people there.
Wow.
And it's a free show.
And they're all related.
And they're all related.
They're my cousins.
And half of them are named JoJo.
Oh, we're going to get so much shit for this.
But it's true. They're all named JoJo.
Sorry, Tita Baby. So Asian AF.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Miss Keiko.
Thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun having you here. I feel inspired. I feel like I just had a nice little kickstart.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like doing something creative after this. Yay. Well, thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Ganru-Ko
Show.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.